So let's talk about some of the outcomes we can expect if we do men's league in our churches. The first and most exciting outcome is this. You're going to have more godly men in your church. Men are given a sense of involvement and place. Men want to know where they fit in an organization. And when they come to church and sit in a pew, they don't get that sense of place. Men's league gives them a spot reserved just for them. I know it sounds like we're appealing to their flesh, but again, I look to the example of Jesus, who selected a limited number of men and gave each one a spot. The other cool thing is it's impossible for men to fall through the cracks, and men have the structure and support they need to change. Second, you'll see nonverbal men finally being discipled. The fact is, male literacy is declining in our country. A recent study found that only about a third of U.S. men read literary works for pleasure during a typical year. Men are usually not big readers of books, and yet all of our discipleship methods are based on having men read books, read Bibles, read study guides, and it's not working. And so we end up, without realizing it, excluding nonverbal or men who don't have good English skills. We basically say to these men, you can't be a disciple because you can't read C.S. Lewis. And, that really angers me. We need a path to discipleship that any man can follow, whether he's good in the English language or not. And so Men's League does that. Our lessons cross language and cultural barriers, and you don't have to be a good reader to be a disciple of Jesus Christ. Third, the church benefits from having so many men being discipled. Of course, families and children are going to be strengthened. If dad is walking with the Lord, families and children are going to benefit. The men are already in functional teams, so if a problem crops up in the church or a need or an opportunity, you can just call one of the coaches up and say, hey, can I get your guys to do X, Y, or Z? You don't have, one of the big problems in the church is we always have to try to build teams. Well, the teams are already built. We don't have to drag volunteers out of the woodwork. We've already got functioning teams in the church, so use them. And finally, the honeycomb of male relationships strengthens the body. When you have to deal with church discipline issues or other issues, having this honeycomb of male relationships, men who know men, men who trust other men, it's going to lend a tremendous amount of strength to the body. And finally, I believe that we will see the return of the high-performance male to our churches. This is a photo of the famous explorer, Ernest Shackleton. Now, I want to read you the famous advertisement that Ernest Shackleton placed in the London Times when he was recruiting men for his Antarctic voyage. He said, "Men wanted for hazardous journey, small wages, bitter cold, long months of complete darkness, constant danger, safe return doubtful, honor and recognition in case of success." Shackleton had 26 places available on his team, and he had over 5,000 applicants. In every generation, there are men who are awaiting God's rigorous call, men who despise things that are easy. They don't want an empty chair. They want to fight their way in. That's why Jesus attracted these men, and we drive them off. They want to find their place and their battlefield. They want a leader they can respect and a brother they can trust. And they long to fulfill Jesus' final command, make disciples.